Hi everyone, Katie here. Welcome back to another layout video. So today I have 3 photos from my trip to Peru again. This was when we were driving through one of the cities. And there's a lot to see in these photos, so I didn't want to trim them at all. And I didn't want to overlap them at all either. So I decided to kind of take some hints from Project Lifers and do a page that's kind of in a pocket card style. So I recently got this travel themed set of pocket cards from my Simple Stories warehouse box, or mystery box, whatever they call it. And I really like the cards. I don't do pocket pages or anything like that, so I knew I'd use them in regular scrapbooking, and this just really worked out perfectly. I have a white piece of paper, 12 by 12 paper, as my base, and then I put my photos in their 4x6 state down, and now I'm finding the pocket cards that I like. So all of them are the 4x6 pocket cards. I have one journaling card there in the middle, one title card, and one just like background card. And it's hard to tell in the video, but the Travel the World and the navy background, they're both like a subtle map print, but not too busy, so I think they work out really well. And when I'm putting them down, I'm trying to have like a very slight white mat behind the photos, but not behind the pocket cards. And it takes a little bit of effort to make sure that that is the case, but I think it works out pretty well, and I ultimately really like how it turns out in the end. Now, one thing I was a little hesitant about is like this title is really generic, right? Travel the world. And granted, I was in another country, I was in Peru, so it does make sense, but it doesn't really give you any clues or anything as to what is going on in the photos, and where this was and why I took them. So I made sure that one, I had a large journaling card. I feel like I can get to be a very long-winded person when writing, because I definitely want to explain why I took these photos. And then I also decided that I don't want my page to be this flat, you know? Whoops, I'm going into the wrong part. So I do my journaling now. Like I said, I can be very long-winded, so I start into it and just talking about how when we left Puno, one city up by Lake Titicaca, we were driving to Cusco, which was a fair drive. I want to say it was 4.5 or 5 hours, but we had lots of stops along the way at interesting places. So it was really not a bad drive at all. But one of the first places we went through was Juliaca, which is this city that's in the pictures. And I noticed a few things that were very different from my city in Kentucky. And one is that a lot of the buildings have rebar sticking out of them. And we actually asked our tour guide, why is that so common? And we found out that any building that's considered to be under construction gets a lower tax assessment. So that's why so many of them still have that. They're considered under construction. And also that way you can always add more to the top, which I thought was really interesting. And also we noticed there were lots of vehicles and maybe fewer rules of the road than there are where we're from, and we were very thankful we weren't driving, but we had a wonderful driver who helped us, safely navigate the roads, which was great. So now, after I get all my journaling down, I decide to revisit the title like I was talking about earlier. And I want to put the title, Travel the World, and then going across the side, I want to say Juliaca. That's, like I said, the city we were in. So I'm using these small gold thickers, and I'm trying to start in the middle, because I want Juliaca to be fairly centered there. Excuse me. So that's where you can see me. I'm counting all the letters and trying to make sure I space it right. Ultimately, I have to readjust it, but that's why, you don't squish down your thickers until you're completely happy with them. And also, thickers don't have the strongest adhesive, so you can usually pick them back up and fix them. But I get that down there, and I like it. It was a little bit painful. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of letters left on this sheet, and only one of them is an A. That, I think, is the hardest part of alphabet letters, is that there are some letters that are, I swear, in every single word. I mean, I know that's not true, but you use some obviously significantly more frequently than others, and like the back sheet of my thickers is almost completely full, but the front sheet is really dwindling. Oh man, well, I guess I'll just have to break down and buy some more, right? These were really nice though, because they were at a local Walmart as well, so they weren't quite as expensive as some you can get other places. Now I want to embellish. I definitely don't want it to be flat. I don't want it to be, at least my idea of, project life, I think of it as very flat. Now, if you're a project lifer, I do not mean any offense. That's just not my jam. If it's yours, I think that's awesome. But I want to get a little more embellishment on here. I've got all my travel stickers, and you can see this box of ephemera and cards is all either travel or outdoor themed. Those, in my mind, go together. So I'm pulling out a few things that I think might work. One is this big, I don't know if it's car or truck, whatever, but we were in a van. I know it's not a van, but close enough. Driving through the city, and this green tag, this came from the Paige Evans Explosion Box ephemera, which I really like. It says, document this. And then underneath, the little airplane pulling the word big adventure. Thought it kind of went together as document this big adventure. And then a little, road sign and corresponding frame. I thought the frame just kind of brought the red color in, which you can see reds in all the photos too. So I thought that worked out pretty well. And I really end up liking my little cluster that I make down here in the bottom left corner. It was a little bit too flat for my liking, so I did have to use my little foam squares to pop up the document this, and then next I pop up the little car guy, but he was a little too wide, so I had to get out my foam tape to do that too. It's just wonderful when you have all of those little supplies. I highly recommend. I started out, I would only do the foam squares, and I put like 1,000,000 of them on there, but it's so much easier when I have foam squares, I have foam tape, I've got the right tools for the job, which is great. And then I add this little globe bit. I pop that up and put it up at the top. I know it doesn't necessarily like fit in with things, but I don't know, I just kind of liked how it looked. I thought it was appropriate, and it also gave some dimension. So it doesn't take long for me to embellish this. I just add really a few stickers, mostly, trying to use up my stash and trying to make little clusters. And really, I end up really liking this layout. I know there's not a whole lot to it, but it's the photos and the journaling that really matter. And that's what I feel like I really got on there. So I must say, popping up a clear sticker on a foam dot was maybe not the best choice, but I try it in there. It works out, I guess. And then I grab a few bits from my thickers to add the gold places, and that'll finish it up. Thanks so much for watching.